Moments That Matter is brought to you by Binkley Ross Family of Funeral Homes, First Southern Bank, and by Melise's.
Welcome to Moments That Matter from The Voyage, a podcast where we can share stories, conversations, and resources that truly impact lives right here in Southern Illinois. I am Melise Oakley with the Voyage Senior Living, and today we are honored to sit down with someone who continues to serve our veterans long after his military career. Tom Harness, Superintendent of the Williamson County Veterans Assistance Commission. Today, conversation is about support and dignity and connection and making sure our veterans and their families know they are not alone.
Thank you for having me today.
Well, thanks for coming. The first question I have is, what is the Williamson County VAC?
The Williamson County VAC is a group of individuals with the veteran service organizations like DAV, American Legion, VFW, just various organizations that can petition the county to create this board, this VAC, where we can have funds through the county to support our veterans in the county and their spouses and their loved ones.
What do you think right now is one of the biggest struggles for veterans facing and trying to navigate? Because there are so many benefits and there's so many organizations and they're all great. But how can they go through that?
The first thing is communication.
Okay.
We really need to find a way to educate everybody that has interaction with the veterans, and that includes the ones in assisted living facilities as well, because there's so many programs that they can utilize, not only just the county, but the federal, that will allow them to, and their spouses, will allow them and their spouses financial aid in specific areas, which one of those is assisted living facilities or, extended care and things like that. And the other thing with the communication part is a lot of them don't want to take the benefits because they don't believe they deserve it, right? Mm-hmm. And I always try to go back and tell them, if you served and you have an honorable discharge, then you absolutely should look at all the possibilities. And I think as we get older, it's not just about ourselves anymore. Some of us do have spouses. And so we need to think about how we can take care of our spouses to the best of our ability.
You had said senior living, helping veterans in that space. What may not some of our veterans realize that they can qualify for these benefits?
There's VA attendance, which can help offset for spouses, for individual, and those can range anywhere from $2,000 to $1,000, just depending on what it is. But those, we're talking significant cost to offset assisted living facilities. And we want to ease that financial part of that. And so working with the VACs, every county, well, not every county, but most counties can have them. We can navigate that and we can talk to them about it and we can help them try to get that benefit. Doesn't mean that you're going to get guaranteed that, but at least it gives you the options, because I'm assuming that most of the people that come to your place is finance is the big thing, right?
Yes.
Finance. And so we want to do that. And then the other part of what I want to do and that I hope to instill in the VAC is to start looking at quality of life. It's great to be able to provide them with housing, and it's great to provide them with food and clothing, but what's their quality of life like? And so we're looking at trying to put in different programs for all ages, right? Because the veterans at all ages are not necessarily looking at their benefits. Young ones coming out, and especially, we're losing a lot of our World War II ones, but we've got veterans for Vietnam, Korean, that we really need to just sit down and have a conversation with. And I think it's hard because we're only going to listen to other veterans, right? You could go in and talk to them about it, and it might go in one ear and out the other, and you're trying to do your best, right? And so putting them in touch and using me as a resource to help your individuals in your facilities to get everything that they possibly could, or to ease a burden, or just make their quality of life better. Sometimes it's the most simplest things that they need that don't cost a lot, but they can't afford it.
And that's what I love, like what you said, being a resource. Like I always say, we may not be able to help you, but I can find somebody or I'll find out. And that's what I love. I know that I've already connected with you with different things. And what I'm excited about is connecting intergeneration with each other and having different groups of individuals interact with, because we all need each other. We all are a community. A lot of people don't realize, like you said, the survival benefits. Kind of touch upon that.
A great story. My father was a Navy guy, and my sister we're getting to that point with our family, with our mom and dad, about, where do they need to go? And so she started researching, and, it was hard for her. I'm sure she's, the sisters are the ones that usually step up. And I hate saying that I'm not great at it, but she is wonderful. And so I wanted to do my part. And I said, have you really looked at all the benefits that dad can have? Because she went back to that it was not affordable. And so she hadn't. And so I did some research, and this is prior to my position. And so we found out that they could be eligible for different things based on his needs. The concern was also, what happens if they're in a place and then they can't? Spouses can still receive money to offset. It's not the same amount, but there's still a way. We're looking at creative ways to help veterans, one, keep families together, keep the spouses together, and also look at ways that we can be creative with the resources that they get. So if they have to cut into, say, medication or food, there's other options for that. To your point earlier, there's a solution for everything. And it might not be a great one. There might be some cuts, you can't have Starbucks 3 times a day. But there's just different ways that we can look at those opportunities for them. And the sad thing too is when we're talking about quality of life, we also have to have that hard conversation about end of life. And so the benefits of burial rights and all of that's things that we can help with as well. The biggest thing is, I think, with communication and helping our veterans that are transitioning into, I guess, retirement or just a different type of quality of life, is to ask them, what do you need?
Absolutely.
What do you want? And that's how we've had conversations about, our male veterans that are in some of the assisted living facilities, is how do we help them? Are we really providing them the opportunity to live the best life, or are we just giving them the basic needs? So there's a big difference for me with basic needs and quality of life. You need both. You need the basic needs, but there has to be a quality of life as well.
It's beyond the benefits. And like the isolation that you have with veterans, and then people are getting older and they don't know how to necessarily unpack some things that may have happened to them. I was so excited that when you and I had that conversation, that you were wanting to get communities together. And that's so important, because we do need each other for all that. Whenever I saw that you did get this position, I was really excited, because I feel like your heart for veterans and you being in the community, Southern Illinois, I feel like that this is a dream that we are taking it to a bigger level. What kind of programs and activities would you like to develop that you and I had kind of talked about? Because this was really exciting to me.
Yeah. So again, we need to go back and start listening to what they want. And it might be to the point where they're not quite sure what they want. Maybe where they're at is just good enough. And sometimes we have to have that balance of, we can't make them want more or our version of what quality life looks like. We really need to look at the quality of life for them and actually provide opportunities for them. Mm-hmm. One of the things I was thinking about this as I was coming in here, one of the projects I wanted to do, we both kind of dream big, but I think small things can come out of the big things. One of the things that a lot of the older generation that we're dealing with in some of the assisted living facilities that are used to are, Bob Hope and the USOs and stuff like that, those events. I would love to be able to put something together like that, as something small or even big. We were talking about fundraisers. It could be a fundraiser, but I think it'd be cool to just find some local people that would want to do that and kind of do the USO concept to bring that back. That was one thing. The other thing that in researching this a little bit more for the show, they want an opportunity in their time to storytell. Mm. And so I think finding different avenues for them to storytell. And I know that, those that go on honor flight, the local ones, that's always an opportunity for them. They will communicate and talk more when they're around other veterans. We also talked about, what are we doing? What programs are we doing that actually are male centric? And I think that's important too. I got to be honest, in my retirement, I probably don't want to knit. I'm not saying that's what you do, but that's a stereotype, right? I don't want to knit. I don't want to cook. I don't want to do some of the things, but those are good things because, when you do the research, those things help cognitive abilities and growth. There's that balance of, it's like being a parent again, right? But the person could be in their, 80s. And so we want to make sure that whatever we do with them, it's still something that's fun. We have to go back and remember what our parents did for us that we didn't like, but it was good for us. So I think just finding some different things. They like coffee. Most of the guys like coffee. They like coffee talk. It would be great, depending on where they're at, to be able to take them to a range, to a gun range, to get them back out hunting, doing those things if they're able to do that. I think when we talk about ability and disability, I don't really think there's a disability. The ability to do what you can within the parameters of what you're capable of doing, right? I mean, I remember when Nintendo came out, Duck Hunt was in the senior living facilities as well. That's safe. We hope. Just don't shoot the dog, right? But I think we just got to start where they're at, what they want, and how can we make accommodations and adaptations for that. It doesn't matter. If they want to go to the ocean, well, let's try to do our best to bring the ocean here, right? If they want to go on a trip, well, then try to make some sort of trip available, like just recreate it. No, it's not the same, but it's better than nothing, right? I mean, put on travel TV for an hour and go to Ireland. If they can, bring some Guinness in, work with the local distributors, just have that quality of life. And I know it takes time and it takes resources, and a lot of the facilities are already maxed. So it's going to take volunteers. It's going to take people that want to step up and do that. And I think we just need to reimagine what we can do with our veterans. And obviously it's not just about veterans too, but that's where my passion is. And that's where I can actually help with funds and stuff like that for individuals that are in need. That's kind of where I was thinking. I mean, I know you were thinking some other things too, but it's just, I think that's where we can start.
Well, I love it because I think just being at the table and talking about these things and flushing it out, because we need to meet them where they're at, wherever that may be. And that's important because the other thing is with our brains, as it's a muscle, so we need to use it. And I think a lot of people have misconceptions about the simple fact that they are maybe the last chapter of their life, but it's about life and it's about living. And I'm so excited to think about these things because as you were saying to me, I was like, ooh, I got some ideas. So we'll have to brainstorm together. That's what I'm excited about because I feel like there's so much out there and you get overwhelmed. For instance, my father, the last few weeks of his life, we found out that all veterans have the right to end of life at the CLC. And that was a process to go through. What would be your first step? Someone that's watching this and saying, tell them some advice of how we can start this process with you.
I think it starts, and it's like anything. Nobody wants to talk about assisted living or anything until they're older, right? I think the first thing you need to do is we need to start educating the young generation. When you get out, go take your DD-214, that's your life, and go to the VA and just start doing your yearly checkups. It doesn't matter if you have a disability or not. You need to go and register. That is what you just said was one of the reasons why I went to the VA, because of the end of life opportunity through hospice. And so I was like, well, that's great because I don't want anybody to have to worry about that part for me. That was my reason to go and get into the VA. And then I found out that the time frame that I was, and because I was in Desert Storm, I was eligible for services. And so that ended up working out really well for me as well, because I went through counseling there. My yearly checkups are there. And so I've got a great doctor at the VA. So I think you start with the DD-214 and you go get registered at the VA. Check your pride at the door. You let the process weed things out. It doesn't mean that you're going to get anything. And then as you get older, you just need to stay in contact, and you have to go in and be like, okay, here's where I'm at. And that's just part, if anybody that's financial planning, which you get into your 25s typically, or 30, your financial planning. This is part of your financial plan if you're
Absolutely.
a veteran, right? You need to talk to your financial advisor about that, but just have those conversations and say, all right, here's what I have. And I think the financial advisors also need to be aware, if they've got a veteran, of all the services that are available to them as well. And again, not that they're going to qualify for them, but they need to know that this could be something that they could have, and that's income that could go into the end. And it's less that you have to worry about and stress about. So I think you need, as soon as you get out of the military, you need to get your DD-214 over to the VA, or you can actually come see me and we can start the process.
And where are you located at?
So our building, which was provided by Williamson County, we're so gracious, is at 500 North Holland in Marion, Illinois. And so if you're familiar with Marion, it's not too far off the county administrative office and the county courthouse, and we're directly behind the ROE for Williamson County.
Well, thank you. I appreciate you so much and coming in and sharing the passion, and I'm excited about what's to come and how we can partnership with our communities.
Me too. I look forward to it, and I know that we both dream big, so we're going to drive a lot of people crazy.
Yep, absolutely. Thank you for joining us. At the Voyage Senior Living, we believe every veteran deserves dignity, connection, and support, not just in moments of crisis, but every day. Thank you for joining us for another episode of Moments That Matter from the Voyage. If this episode encourages you, please share it with someone who may benefit from the resources in this conversation. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel so you never miss an episode.
Moments That Matter is brought to you by Binkley Ross Family of Funeral Homes. Locally owned and operated. Binkley Ross Funeral Home, Blue Funeral Home, Mitchell Hughes Funeral Home. Call 618-997-7771 or go to binkleyross.com. First Southern Bank. Bank with people you know, who know and love Southern Illinois. Community banking at its best. Find us at firstsouthernbank.net. And by Melise's. Tuxedos, menswear, custom embroidery, and apparel. Melise's, the best little suit shop in town. Call 618-993-1800 or go to melises.com.